Hi, everybody. I'm Walter. I'm the Dutch mentor. And welcome back to the S.M.A.R.T Performance podcast, where S stands for self care, M for mindful growth, A for adaptive problem solving, R for rhythmic operations, T for building a thriving community, and P for performance, of course. As always, I promise you a 15 minutes high energy podcast on a specific topic, although you never know where it's going to go. And today I'm really happy to have Carmine with me. Carmine comes with a wealth of experience. And today we're going to talk a little bit what we expect as we enter the workplace and maybe in corporate world, and what the realities of that are, and what adjustments that we have to make, and that's something you cannot depend on your boss. So before we get started again, go to the App Store, download the Dutch Mentor Smart app, and get you on the road of what it is that you need to build your personal brand and to stand out and be a differentiator. Carmine, thank you very much for being here, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me as a guest. So, I had more than 20 years in corporate in operations, which spanned across consumer goods, high tech, and biotech. And during my corporate journey, about the midpoint, I authored a book, Welcome to the Big Leagues: 9 Innings of Essential Tips for the Corporate Rookie. And when I wrote this book, I really wanted to give something back at the midpoint of my career. I had great mentors all throughout my career, and they felt that they were older now by the time they gave back. They didn't, it's a 5 gen workplace. They didn't see eye to eye with the new entrants. And so I really felt I've obtained so much knowledge. There was so much to give back, and I wrote the book. And this was 14 years ago. And it's just remarkable how everything is so relevant today and stands the test of time.
It is interesting to see sometimes time stands still, and other times it is accelerated and the things change. So even that, your philosophy might be good today as it will be good in 25 years from now. Certainly, the generations do change, right? So first, from a reflective standpoint, when you came out of school and went into the corporate world, what did you expect it to be, and what was the reality? And then I would like to talk about what is Generation Z and M's doing today to enter that world, and what are the misconceptions there?
Right. So, well, it was funny because I had an undergrad degree. And when I graduated there, I got out of school, started my career. And I was very fortunate, but you don't realize it. You're starting at rock bottom. And in the first 5 years, I received 3 promotions, which is sort of unheard of, but easy when you're starting at a junior level.
Mhm.
So that expectation sort of instills in your mind. And that's the mindset I recognized from everyone coming into the corporate world. Then later, about 10 years into my career, I was put through grad school, and the work became more and more demanding as you took on more. And you realize it's more about a path of mastery and not instant gratification. And you're only really worth the skills that you build.
Mhm.
So, life and career, you enter these plateaus. And the idea is to build your skills. They say, right, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. You have to prepare and skill build. And the big thing that I saw about the new entrants coming in were the same thing, misguided. It's going to be instant gratification. We're going to go from A to Z without putting in the work. And, they were just misguided on what the true journey looks like and how they would need to prepare for it.
I always laugh because you talk about this generation, and I guide quite a few, graduate. I teach graduate school and bachelors, and in these conversations, they all have expectations. Oh yeah, I'm going to graduate and get myself $100,000 job, and I'll be a director within a couple of years. I can certainly start. Yeah, I'm competent. I can start at the manager level. The value of learning and growth and experiencing and actually doing the actual work is completely missed by this generation. And by the way, I only want to work 4 days a week, preferably 2 days from home and 2 days in the office. So the reality of that is, and that is the test of time that we're talking about, is that you have to put the work in, and you need to build real skills, knowledge, and abilities. And people have lost the sense that you should do things two, three, four times before you have a level of competency. So tell me a little bit about that, what you experienced in your journey and you did with other mentees on what is the disconnect and how can you overcome that?
Yeah, so there with me, really the pursuit of mastery was the biggest thing. And there are a lot of failures along the way. People have to be prepared to fail, but you have to learn from your failures. Okay, not everything's going to be a home run. The corporate world doesn't need you, right? People are dispensable. So how do you find your worth and your purpose? And one thing, how do you stay motivated the right way? And motivation is an internal engine, right? But if you look at where we are today, towards the end of January, it's said and studies show that about 85% of New Year's resolutions have already failed,
That's right.
right? So why is that? Resolutions don't work, rituals do. You need a system for self-improvement that are small steps that just equal a quantum leap over time. And one of the biggest things starting was identifying my own core values. Who am I as a person? What motivates me and why? How can I live? And it took me time to develop this legitimately, right? And wholeheartedly believe it. And once you find that, it's also said that, some of these studies that we had and things I wrote in big leagues is that we make on an average of 35,000 decisions a day. 35,000. Okay, let's just say 1% of those, 350, impact our well being.
Mm-hmm.
You can't leave that to chance. You have to have a plan for every single step of the journey. And one of the things I coined the term for POEMS, okay? Physical, occupational, economic, mental, and social. And those are 5 pillars of well-being. And I say only by having a detailed plan that enables you to pursue each in moderation can your life come together as harmoniously as the acronym. So everything's related. If the spoke falls off of one, the wheel collapses. And so really it is about success planning, and not just the way it's always taught, but true, deep, value-driven success planning for longevity.
And I think that's where we fall short, both in high school and bachelor's and master's degree, that we teach a lot of worldly theory, but not practical applications. So people coming out of these courses and they still don't really know how to position themselves. And that's actually precisely the reason why I built the Smart app, that in self-care you address atomic habits, right? How can I visualize a successful journey? What is my true why? And I love the fact that I just spoke to somebody else on the show too about the pillars. She had 9 of them. You have 5 of them. I use mental awareness, spiritual awareness, physical wellness, relational wellness, and financial wellness. Again, all of these poems, mine, hers, all of these things mean that we need to look inward and making sure that we have a solid foundation that is a constant state of motion that needs to be addressed. Now, often people cannot do that, should not do that alone. So talk a little bit about, did you do it by yourself or did you find somebody along the way that was able to support you?
Yes, just one more thing while you say that, and about success. There have also been studies too about the environment, right? Setting up your environment for success. And like a little thing like playing the guitar, right? If someone wanted to play a guitar, 50% of the people would give it up like 10 times faster if that guitar was in a closet versus sitting out in the room, right? So just the fact that it would take 30 seconds more to go and grab that guitar out of the closet, it would lead to failure, right? So that's how important the environment is on a subconscious level. And so it is like success is about setting up your environment right. You want to lose weight or stay healthy, you need to pack your refrigerator with, nutritious foods and bring those nutritious snacks to work. So when you're hungry, you don't make those bad decisions.
Yeah.
But back to your questions, no, you can't do it all alone. I mean, there are great books out there. I've read a ton. I've had great leaders throughout my career and mentors. And also, grad school was a huge awakening for me, instilling purpose in my life.
It is the thriving community, right? That could be a mentor, paid mentor, it could be a coach, it could be a clergy, it could be your fellow students. Again, the key thing is not to try to do it alone, right? It delays things, and you really need to have multiple different perspectives, not just one. Part of the reason why I do the podcast, and this is actually goes into the Smart app, and I publish it. It's a good reminder for me, right? Things that I can improve. And people can sit there and listen to me all day long, but it's far more important for me to listen to other people and give different perspectives. At the end of the day, we're all saying the same thing. Listen, if you want to improve, you have to take action. If you want to make action sustainable, you need to measure it. And if you want to make it sustainable, measurable, and you want to have the outcomes you seek, you should ask for help and in order to get there. Because if you don't do these things, it's very likely you never get to the level of proficiency or mastery as you were talking about it. So if you do this, right? So people, what is the carrot? Why is this so important? And what can you reach? How can you improve outcomes if you follow that path you just suggested?
Mm-hmm. So it really truly is about the journey. And that was another illusion that I had. It was about getting that carrot, right? Being the ultimate leader, being a CEO. Well, leadership is lonely, right? You're alone. And even when I wrote my book at the midpoint of my career and going out and speaking, it was such an endeavor, right? Of everything you're doing by yourself and creating the community, you have to truly understand what you want, what satisfies you, where work is not work, it's purpose driven, it's value driven, it's who you are, it's in your DNA. And when you love what you do, the journey's fulfilling. And that's how I ended up transitioning in life. I spent more than 20 years in corporate, retired at the age of 50, was enjoying my retirement, realized I needed to get back in business. And then I started a whole new company built on wellness, Pure and Easy Tea. And, only until just recently did I write myself into the brand, because it truly is a culmination of my being and everything I've, acquired, all the knowledge and everything I'm about. So it's so purpose driven. And that's the true thing. I think that's the biggest ad that I could give is find your purpose and pursue it with conviction. It's not about any carrot or any material item, and it's not about feeding the ego, right? I mean, how many are really purely out ego driven? It's not about that.
No,
I
it is the four P's, right? Purpose, passion at the heart level, and
Mhm.
then if you get through with the process and people you enjoy working with, it's like bingo, right? It's
Oh,
when
so
you hit
good.
them. So I would remiss to ask you, what is pure and easy tea? Because it has a nice little ring to it. I think you did a phenomenal job coming up with a branding slogan, so to speak. What is it?
Well, so it was purely personally driven for myself. When I was in my biotech career in San Francisco, I was an avid runner, marathons, a ton of training, and I would rely on the normal supplements, the Gatorades, the goo, all those supplements. When I retired to Scottsdale, Arizona, I became an avid tennis player. And in the Arizona heat, I would play 3 to 5 hours a day. Just loved it. And you go to back to what the Gatorades, the goos for the nutrients. And I got sick. I got terribly sick. And I couldn't handle anything that had a color in it or a flavoring or any of that. And water just wasn't enough. So I said, oh, I'm going to go back to brewing my teas that I used to brew loose leaf tea in San Francisco. I reached for the cabinet, I grabbed out a jar, I opened it, and the smell was so off putting to me now. All the chemicals came out. And I'm like, this isn't right. Can't I just get pure? I thought this was all pure. So I started crafting my own pure blends. And the very first one, I have a bag here, is called EnduraBoost, right? So long before it became a business, I was making this for myself and just packed with nutrients that were so thirst quenching and so on. And then, after doing that, about a year and a half later, I'm like, wow, I can't be the only one who would appreciate this. And then that's where the business formed. And when I formed the business, it was pure because I'm getting, the highest quality, purest herbs, teas, botanicals, and putting it all together in, masterfully crafted blends. Then easy, I'm making it easy for everyone to make that easy choice and have all this right in your pantry for the good decisions and nutrients. The brand has grown way beyond what I thought it could be in just a short period of time. We're growing at 115%. We just completed our second full year of business, and people love it. And it feels really good because it's my passion project.
I think the reason why I wanted to bring that out of you because this is such a great example that you go into your why and connecting your purpose to that why, and that taking that purpose into an action, and that action by being sticking with it and coming up with continuous improvement cycles in order to get the right product, and then taking that courageous step to go out and actually put it into market, and then test it and improve it and see what can happen. So I think that attitude that every emerging leader has. I don't care if you work for yourself, you're working in a healthcare organization, IT, banking. That's the mindset you need to have in order to really do the things you love to do and having hopefully a positive impact. Where can people find you, Carmine, and get in touch with you?
So yes, I'm on LinkedIn, right? Carmine Del Sordi, LinkedIn. Also, any communication that goes to pureandeasytea.com, you find me. Yeah, it's
Excellent. Can we find it on the East Coast, or is it right now just available online?
we are direct to consumer nationwide,
Okay.
and this year we will be getting into retail.
Okay. Pureandeasy.com. Not that difficult.
Pure and easy tea.
Pureandeasytea.com.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
listen, that's about as straightforward as can be. Thank you, Carmine, for being here today and really sharing your story. Because I think that especially the new graduates or people who are not exactly where they think they need to be, finding that purpose, finding that level of mastery, putting in the time and action will get you where you need to go. Give me a parting thought.
One parting thought is, just like me, the only reason I was able to do this and take on a company is because there were many points in my career where I was in a plateau, but I still continued to self develop and build skills. They say each skill is like adding an extra golf club to your bag. And no matter how tricky the lie, do you want to go through a tough course with just one club? Or do you want 50 or 100? Build your skills. You're never in a plateau when you're learning.
And that's the growth mindset that we're all looking for. Carmine, thank you very much for being here. Much success with your teas. It is, I enjoy a good, fine cup of tea. I'm not an athlete anymore, but I certainly do enjoy that. Good luck with everything. To the audience, again, without meaningful, intentional action, you will not get to where you want to go. Right? So be courageous, be innovative, be creative, but to take the action step, dream big, act small. Go to the App Store, download the Dutch Mentor app, S.M.A.R.T Performance. In there, you can find all the things that you're looking for in order to be able to self-stimulate. And of course, if you need additional time, just book a call with me. We'd be happy to chat. Thank you, everybody, and see you at the next episode. Thank you, Carmine, for being here today.
All right. Thank you.